it's a little bit more difficult and more breaks in there. And this is just in one go. It's like, okay, this is a part that's only the kicks. Okay, then you can throw in the next tracks in there.
Yeah, I'm not good at mixing breaks. I'm no.
You
That's not
know,
my thing. Okay.
every artist has their own expertise, and your expertise is more the melodic,
Yeah,
hardcore
Feeling
sound from
the
the
melodic
2010s,
experience.
I think. More in that, like the Art of Fighters in that range.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, to everybody out there, we are still having interview with SOTUI, Seeds of the Upcoming Infection, aka Denise. We are having a talk about depression, how it can affect an artist, and we just heard a huge story about a depression. And once again, congratulations on getting out of the evil bad place and back into the better place. Yeah, it's not the best, but
It's fantastic.
it,
It's pretty satisfactory
you know,
having
that's what we go
gotten out
for.
of it.
So we are now doing a Q&A session, a question and answer. I already see 3 different kind of questions out there. If you have any questions,
Yeah.
please throw them out there, and then Denise will answer it. So the first one is from Who Lady. You said don't be afraid to reach out if you're having a bad time. But is there actually something a person on the other side can do?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What can a person do?
Even just listening to you helps a lot, because the person who is going through that needs to feel relieved and needs to get all those feelings out, and telling people about that and how you feel helps a lot. And obviously, if it's someone who went through this, it's even better, because they can give you advice on how not to go deeper, but to start rising up from that abyss. So yeah, definitely it helps. It helped me. It helped the dudes I talked out of suicide, literally. It's not exaggeration. It's like that. And yeah, it helps. And if it's someone who is close to you, they can even uh, try and learn how to make things easier for you. So, yeah, and that's a really good question, actually.
This is definitely a good question. From my
Yeah.
point of view, as a person that is the person that gives that help, um, it is going to be a really tough ride. What?
Well, as someone who's been to depression herself, and Joe has been on my side by that, I often didn't know what I was actually needing, and
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that you can. I think you can try to. Listening helps a lot. Like, just have the person talk helps, and eventually you can ask things like, "Can I help you with something? Can I give?" Well, maybe this time it's a little bit more difficult, but back then it was like, "Oh, come on, you need a hug," or should we watch a movie, or some small things that get you just out of that dark place. Those things help. It's
Yeah, because
very small things.
you can do complex things.
Indeed, so
You can
very
only do
small
small
things
things.
help a lot, and listening is one of them. And maybe like, yo, shall we just, I don't know, if you're separated, then say, well, let's try to play a simple game online, or just have a Discord conversation or anything. Just do something together, just to get them out of that dark place. But that's how I
Yeah.
got through it.
Yeah. And like I said, from my point of view, it's it is really hard for the person having depression, but it's equally as hard for the person that is supporting the person with depression, because
At some points, even harder, I
at
think.
some points it's even harder, because the thing is, somebody with depression, they always come back with a certain issue, and the moment that you think that you tackled that issue, next day the issue comes back again, and
Yep.
twice as hard, and the next day 3 times as hard, and so you keep continuing doing the same thing. The only thing what I can tell to you guys, if you are on the end of on the other end of the depression, do not give up. Try to take it easy. Be mindful of the situation. Don't. There are going to be times that you will become crazy. At this moment, you should drop your own. Now, I wouldn't say you drop your own dignity, but drop your own thoughts and minds, and just be there for the person. The moment that the person recovers, then I would advise you guys to just take a little time off for yourself. Like in my case, the moment that she calmed down a little bit, then she lies down on the sofa, and on that moment I just put on my music and I play. Yeah, what kind of music that gives me the energy back again, because it's a tough battle, but don't give up. It's a long process. It can take several weeks. It can take several hours. I think my longest session with you was like 4.5 hours. I think that you didn't came out of the. I got it off an anxiety, panic.
Anxiety.
Yeah. So, but it took 4.5 hours to get her calmed down. So, it's tough, but do not give up, because the moment that you give up, that's also the moment that the person will say, "See, I am not worth fighting for." So
Yeah, totally.
watch out,
Totally.
and also watch out with what you say and when you say. Well, one time I did
The
made a little
way-
mistake.
The way you say it,
The way
I
you say it, yeah.
think that's
That's
the worst. Yeah.
Guilty.
Yeah, it's, I mean, when we are in that situation, you are totally clueless and you are just figuring stuff out like every minute, and you try it and you try it. It's like investigation, but like terrible.
Mhm.
So
Oh.
yeah.
And a wise tip: don't be too direct.
Yep.
Okay, let's go over to the next question. And the next question is from Thunsy Aerostomp. Dennis, are there in your experience things that people have done with good intentions but that did not have a positive effect with respect to your depression? In other words,
Yeah.
when trying to help or offer support, are there any general things that should be avoided?
That's a really good question and a really difficult one, actually. I mean, to the first question, yeah, of course. Like, you're, as we were saying, you're totally clueless of what's going on. And you will do stuff that you think will work towards cheering you up or cheering the other one up, your significant other in my case, and in your case too. And it's a total failure. And that's not because you have bad intentions or anything. It's just because you're figuring things out on the go, and stuff like that happens. And when trying to help or offers, whoa, things that should be avoided, I would say a sentence that should be avoided, and that's cheer up, because
Or everything is going to be all right.
yeah, it makes you so mad, and you are already feeling miserable and sad, but that sentence, it's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna be okay, everything is good now. No, that's not how it works. So you get really angry, so avoid that sentence or those sentences.
Oh,
And
I also know one else. Yeah, man up. That's also one. Or another one. There are people that has it worse than you.
that's a really terrible one. Yep. Of course, there is people who have it worse than you, and you don't give a flying fuck about
No, because
that,
it's
because
about
you're
you and not
feeling
about the
so
other people.
bad. Exactly. So that's, those and that kind of stuff is what you should avoid. Try to focus on positive stuff and try to do kind of cheer up the other. You're not gonna cheer him up.
Yep.
It's impossible, but you will shed some light in all that darkness that you are surrounded by. So that's the way, I think. Oh,
I also know another one, and that is if somebody is asking for help, and you go in there, yeah, you can talk to me and I'll help you. And on the moment that a person reach out to you and you are not able to give that support, so do not make that mistake. If you already know beforehand that you are not going to help that person, do not react.
I'm trying. Yeah.
Just do not react.
Yeah, it's better to ignore it than to try cluelessly and fuck up.
Yeah, I have did it
it's
with.
gonna be stupid.
I've did it with Dennis too. I have seen his posts and messages. I don't know. I didn't know how to help him. So the best thing what I can do is just not to react, because the moment that I react, he, in my opinion and thought, maybe he is searching for my help and for help that I cannot give. So just to stay on the safe side for me and for the person with depression, not offer help if you cannot do that.
Yeah, and it also, that kind of thing, it kind of makes everything you're feeling way more real, and you don't want that. You want to keep knowing that it's in your head and it's just in there.
Yeah.
And if someone tries to help you in some way that they don't know what they are doing, you kind of become like, you really realize that the problem is just not within you, but also in the way you interact with others, and that makes you feel so guilty, and that's just negativity, and it doesn't help anyone. So yeah, avoid that. It's the best tip I can do.
So from Samsung, I hope these answers are good enough. I hope. So let's see.
Oh yeah, they are.
T-Bus, the next one. Do you think music was a good way to cope with your worst times, or was it dragging you down more? I know this is a personal, but I'm intrigued. Sorry, I need to read it twice, and she needed to help me. So, was music a good way to cope with your worst times, or was it dragging you down? Or is it something really personal?
It was good when I felt like I needed it, and it was terrible when I had to do this track because the deadline is in 2 days, and I had to do it, and I was lucky enough that it didn't turn out terrible. But those times I felt miserable because I did not want to make music in that moment. But when I started like to rise up, it helped me. Like it just fueled me up to rise again. Yeah. It's so self-rewarding when you achieve things that you want to do, and that helps you like a lot. So yeah, it was good most of the time, and just industry wise it wasn't good in that straight sense.
Yeah.
But all in all, it was good. It helped me. So
Yeah, that is great then.
it
Let's
was.
see. The next question. Oh, this is for me. So this is one of the few times that people are asking me questions. So, question for me: having had the experience, Tisbas himself, with issues himself, how do you keep on supporting when you have your own doubts or how effective you are? Yeah, this is really difficult because on the moment I have absolutely no clue what to do. Everything what I try to say, it doesn't help. I try to talk, it doesn't help. I try to give my ideas, how maybe it can help. It made it even worse. So this kept on going for 1 week, and I was really, I have absolutely
Very good.
no clue to what to do. But the most important thing is just listen to the story. Don't give your ideas on it, but just go with the story. Like if the other person say, "Yeah, life is shit, and I hate that people. I hate animals. I hate food." The best thing what you can say, yeah, fuck that, fuck people, fuck food. Oh. Well, in my case, food is maybe is quite holy because I do love food, but just
Me too, but I didn't want it to eat sometimes. So yeah, fuck food.
yeah, she has the same, but just go with it. And if somebody asks for, yeah, I want to eat chocolate, do not say you are getting fat. Just give that goddamn chocolate, because that is the
Yeah, I
only.
did.
Yeah, or just just go along with the story, go along with the person. Yes, it is really difficult to absorb all the information because I will tell the truth. I'm sorry about that. There are moments that she kept talking about the same thing all over, and on the moment, I did got a little bit pissed off in my head. But I said to myself, okay, well, one ear in, one ear out, and just nod until the person calms down, and then start talking again.
Yeah.
Because a person that is depressed and I wouldn't like to say having an episode, but on the moment that that the breakdown is there.
We kind of keep circling around, like we get into the emotion, the feeling, and then we get kind of stuck.
Yep.
And then the moment you almost think you're okay, the voice in your head
Circulate again.
circulates
Yeah.
again, and it's keep going and going and going,
Yeah.
and it's very difficult to break out of that circle. And to be honest, in some cases
Doesn't
when
stop.
it doesn't stop, and in some cases when he said something, the voice was getting actually worse. So
Louder.
indeed,
Yeah.
and sometimes even worse.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I'm like, oh, your husband has to, you're making it very difficult for him, and now you are not worth his time. I was like, whoa, boys, yo, calm your tits, dude. But it just didn't work. It just, and eventually I end up.
felt that too.
Yeah, and eventually when I got totally stuck in that circle, I would stop talking, eventually stop moving, sometimes, well, not sometimes, even stop breathing, and eventually just fall down and fall asleep. because that's the only part that I could get really out of that circle if I was in a bad mood, bad way.
Yeah, I did that too. Yeah, because you can't stop it. It just keeps going, and the more you fight it, the worse it gets.
Worse it gets, indeed.
So in that moment, it's better to like, surrender for a moment, let it finish, because it will eventually finish. And when it finishes, kind of reflect on it and try to learn not to fall into it so deeply the next time. And first times you will do this, I mean, you will fail. But eventually you will get over it little by little. So yeah.
So if you are within the panic attack or these kind of things, and on that moment you really need to take a breather, what I did with her is I need to go to the toilet. I take a shit. I say I'll come back in 5 minutes, and even though I'm not taking shit, I'm just going to the toilet. Just sit there and try to let everything go. And
you also need to let things sink in.
Let things sink in and just take a breather. After that, just stay calm. Go to the kitchen, grab yourself a drink. And also ask if the person wants to drink. If the person wants tea, it's even better, because then you have an extra 5 minutes for yourself. But on the moment that you go to the toilet, you have a drink, and you are making tea for the person or coffee, gives you 10 minutes for yourself. So then the person with depression has 10 minutes to gather up the strength and all the issues what they have, and you as a person
to calm down.
And I'm taking care of someone. So
yeah.
But the most important thing in the story is do not give up, because on the moment that you are giving up, the person will feel even worse, and the situation will be even worse on a way that they might commit suicide. Not saying it will, but it's dangerous. So
yeah, I just want to address that shortly, because it's something so morbid that, I mean, but of course you have those thoughts, and sometimes that thought that is circling around your head is that exact thought that I want this to end.
Yeah.
And that's the worst times you can have, because at the same time you are like, dude, but I love being alive, I love doing stuff, I love making music, I love singing, I love, but at the same time you are like, yeah, but I want this suffering to end.
Yeah,
it's just that. It's like, yeah, I want to run away, and that's all. Other than that, what can you do? So when I see artists committing suicide, it makes me so sad, but at the same time it makes me so mad, because those artists in most of the cases have people around them that know what's going down.
Yep.
And did not try hard enough. Of course, there will be cases that even if you try hard enough, you won't stop it. But most of the times, if you try and be patient, you get over it.
Yep.
And you keep living I mean, instead of not. It's
Yeah.
just that.
Yeah, now we're talking about artists. I don't really know what the story is with Blasterhead, because the only thing I know, Blasterhead is not among us anymore. So we don't know if it's suicide or if it's natural cause. Same for Betwixt in Between. We don't know if it's suicide or not. But I do know of one
Although
case.
in that case, it's pretty. To me, it's pretty clear that it was, but that's just my opinion and my wild guess.
Yeah, there's a wild
As
guess,
someone
but it's
who
not confirmed.
went through it.
At least for
of
me, it's
course.
not confirmed. So I am not making any
No,
assumptions.
it's not.
But there's one case that I do know and I can confirm it, and that is back in 2006, 2008. There, I have known an artist. He goes under the name of DJ Lunch, or the Cinderella, and he is also the founder of a Japanese hardcore party, and not the J-Core like music, but the hardcore music.
Japanese hardcore.
The Tokyo hardcore construction. DJ Lunch, he's the
Oh, I
frontman.
know.
Oh, you know Tokyo hardcore construction.
Yeah.
Okay. They really dislike the J-core anime scene, the nerd scene, and they are invested in more the European hardcore stuff. I really had good conversations with him. He even asked me for advice for a tattoo, and he asked me how do you write Gabber is live in Dutch. So I told him, this is this. Show me a picture if you have it. He showed me a picture, so it's great. Had really good conversation with him, and I said the next time I want to come to Japan, I really want to meet him and maybe play at his party.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool and all. And then suddenly I didn't hear from him. Oh, okay, it's possible. And somehow I kind of forgot about him. But then a half a year later, I thought to myself, hey, I haven't heard of this guy already in a long time. So I check out where the guy is, and he didn't react anymore. And I do had contact with somebody else that went to that scene, and they confirmed that he committed suicide. So I was pretty shocked, as I really liked that guy, and I really wanted to help him. And it's it's like what you said. It's and a lot of people in Japan, they just cannot get the right help.
Yeah. They are like really self-isolating and stuff, and yeah.
So yeah,
it happens.
So yeah,
like, do you remember this guy called Charger? That was
I heard of him.
Yeah, I think he was from Hong Kong. He was like really young, like he was.
No mic.
What?
I didn't hear what you said. Yeah.
He was like 23 or 24, something like that. And we didn't. He was in this. What's the label from? Look D called. Well, I don't remember, but he was pretty good, and he did some stuff like freeform hardcore. And he was from Hong Kong, and suddenly he like stopped communicating and posting on Facebook and stuff. And this was around the J-Core years. And
I remember. Yeah, there was one guy from Hong Kong. Yeah, I now remember. There's one guy, one J-Core guy from Hong Kong. Yeah, I do remember him. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy did one of my favorite freeform hardcore songs of all time. And he stopped communicating and stuff.